So today we are going to look at psychological assessment. In psychological assessment, the purpose of this course unit is to enable a lecturer or a teacher or any instructor or anybody involved in the field of education to measure and conclude whether learning has taken place or has not taken place, so that he gets informed of how far the milestone or the mileage that the learners have gone as far as the learning objectives are concerned. So in psychological assessment, the teacher should be able to look at all the three domains in measuring learning: the mind, the cognitive, and also the psychomotor, the skills, and the affective, which we say the values, so that he concludes to see whether student learners have attained the intended objectives or have reached the intended outcomes, or otherwise there is need for either reteaching, reviewing, or using different approaches to effectively guide these learners. It can also be creating other means, so methods and other means such as so outcomes of assessment should be able to help the teacher in improving instructional strategies, instructional styles, content, in organizing learners, setting learning activities, preparing learning aids, and also preparing assessment tools that are suitable for effective teaching and learning. So this tells us that assessment will help the teacher, but also assessment should be able to help the learner to realize the level of attainment of knowledge, skills, and values. We shall look at the different importances or relevances of assessment when it comes to that section of the relevance of assessment in teaching and learning process, where we shall look at even the other stakeholders such as parents and the guardians, then also sponsors, that they are also beneficiaries of assessment, measurement, and evaluation outcomes or results, so that they participate in the process. So in this course unit, psychological assessment, we are looking at a pairing of two words: psychology and assessment. So psychology itself, psychology is the study of the soul. So others call it a branch of science that deals with the study of the soul. That is the originality, the etymological meaning of psychology. Its original meaning was the study of the soul. Then later on, the meaning was extended to the study of the mind and behavior. The mind and behavior. And the study of the mind and behavior. And now that we are dealing with people, because there is psychology of animals, the psychology of politicians, the psychology of patients, and those fields. But here we are dealing with education, so we are looking at psychological assessment, psychology of learners, and particularly even the psychology of the instructors or the teachers. So that means that the mind and behavior we are assessing, we are looking at here is around the learner and the instructor. So when you look at the study of the mind, looking at the mind constitutes a domain called it is called cognitive, the cognitive. Then when people start, when you think about something, that's cognitive. When you think about it and start to take actions in various situations, then we say you are adopting a certain behavior. Because behavior is the way people actually act, take action in different situations and conditions. So behavior now comes in when you think and act a certain way and keep doing it, it becomes a certain pattern. Then we say that you have adopted a certain character trait, a certain character trait or trait. So there, when you are looking at the study of the mind and behavior, there are people who have done some studies, such as the several scholars have done some studies and have come up with a package called the personality theory. As a theory, a package. In this package of theory has got underlying theories under it. It's like a packet. Under it, there are underlying theories. One of the theories is the cognitive theory. The other is the behavioral theory. Then the trait theory and the humanistic theory. Now, this packet called personality theory, the personality theory looks at how people react to differently in different environments and how they take actions about the different occurrences around themselves. So in the personality theory, so specifically looking at cognitive, people will take action because of what they think or what they imagine. So in the cognitive theory, you're looking at the mind controlling behavior. Cognitive, yes. Mind controlling behavior. Yes. The mind controls behavior. Yeah, because you can think and say, I think I should move. Yeah. Though I'm minority. I was going to call, but I think let me get quiet. So the mind controls behavior, and that is how in the cognitive theory we start looking at what we call the three things. One is the ego, the ID, the ego, and the super ego. ID. Yeah.
IDs are what are those? Those are like in cognitive theory, the mind is for the mind to act or to come up with some judgment. The three work together. The ID puts the condition of do it. The ID, when you get into a situation, the ID can instruct you, go, run away. Okay? So example, you have made a case, or a learner has maybe has broken your glass. The learner can choose to go away. The ID is instructing the learner to take an action immediately. But then ego puts the consequences. If you run away, they may beat you. The other one saying you run away. This one is saying there is a consequence attached to doing that. Then superego brings into perspective what you judge out of the two. What if I run away? They are going to beat me. So superego will take a final decision of either saying, forgive me, I have broken the glass. Or if she has not been seen, carry the glass, make a decision, carry the glass, and pour it in the toilet, and remove all the pieces. So that when they ask where the glass is, you say, I don't know where the glass is. So this one is making judgment after ID and ego have been like integrated. As if in Sparek we were talking about finding a solution. Yes. Finding a solution to that thing. But then you say decision. Taking judgment. Taking a judgment. That is funny. Like if it was taking a judgment, yeah, I thought that you then be then finding what to do. Here something saying run. Yeah. When you think about running away, then you say, but I think I should not run away. Running away will not help me. Let me stay and maybe ask for forgiveness. But then when you collect the broken whatever pieces and you throw them away, then when they ask, you say, I don't know what has happened. Then I say, I think that is a different thing. Something has happened, then you decide to hide what has happened. You are finding a solution to yourself, remain safe. Yes. Okay. Of course, various people with their ID, ego and superego will never be the same because of different personalities. That is personality. That people are different basing on how they think, how they behave, and maybe the people they have been interacting with. So their ID will, by superego, they can think of the same situation and take different resolutions, resolve differently. But you see, in psychology, one can predetermine a thought that
When this happens, there are some possibilities. The person is expected either to do this, the other. If he has not done that, then he can do. You can try to expect or to forward tell some thoughts and some behavior. I was able to tell that during this season, you people are going to put me on tension. And I think one time I typed and said, I don't want you people to put me on pressure. Because I knew some time back that something could be happening in the future. So you can predetermine a thought or people's ideas, and then say that if I set an activity this way, they are going to perceive it the other way. Then you strategically place it, knowing of what is likely to happen. So then we are not going to spend a lot of time in cognitive, but in cognitive theory, the leading domain is knowledge. That the mind receives knowledge according to someone's exposure into the environment and the things the person interacts with. Remember that cognitive, you're dealing with the knowledge, the mind which receives knowledge. That the mind receives knowledge according to the external environment. And what is in the external environment? There are people, there is air, like we looked at air, there is water, there is land, there are plants, there are animals. Even when you're talking about the external environment, you could also look at the beliefs that is going to get out of people, from people, and the culture and the norms. They will come and form a body of knowledge that this person possesses, and that will later on govern the person's cognitive character, or the way the person thinks, and that can also affect the way the person keeps acting. Now, in behavioral theory, the behavioral theory states that a person's behavior is determined or dictated by the background or the environment in which that person is living. The behavioral theory states that a person's behavior is determined and dictated by the background or the environment in which that person is living or has lived in. So by behavioral theory, we can be able to tell that a child of a fisherman can become a fisherman easily than being a carpenter, because this child grows up seeing that the father is doing fishing and is talking about nets and even the kinds of play. You may even start to create a certain kind of fish and try to this artificial fish and with a rope and tries to make like land is the lake and tries to hook that artificial fish. The pattern is like because that child has been exposed to that kind of pattern of action. That is what is exposed to, and that is what he sees. When you ask, maybe some of you could be a teacher because maybe your parent desired that and you became it by maybe has been teaching, so you become like a teacher. It is there. So sometimes it can be adopted because the environment around is dictating. So in communities where homosexuality is practiced, you will find that those children will never know that is evil because it is what is practiced in them. They adopt it as a behavior and think that is the way life is. But if they were born in an environment which is religious, say it is Christianity, they would think that homosexuality is wrong because the environment they have been exposed to, the behavior there does not carry on that. So that is, if people are behaving a certain way, we have to ask what has been the background of their life, because this one is like also trying to dig the curriculum the person has been taking.
This behavior is inherited.
Sorry?
This theory that some people inherit it. It's like when you find your father-in-law is called, you have a husband from a polygamous family. Even you expect this one to do the same what his father did.
That is so.
Well, if you find a family like the son, he can like where he comes from, one mother, only his dad, there is no way you can practice that. And sometimes you can find a woman who grew in a polygamous family is able to deal with a man with many wives because she got used during the time when she was growing. She saw how everything was moving. It is normal to her. It is normal.
And you keep advising the children.
These Muslims, for them it's normal to them. But for us from Christian families, it may be news to us.
And she may keep advising them. Please, men, the man is yours when he's with you.
There might be like advice. First move out of the family where she's going. The boy comes from a nice family, don't accept allow her to go with such a man. Have control over that.
But to those whose background is for monogamy, you have to be with one wife, one man, one wife.
Children practice that.
When you have a wife and they discover you have one, they will never allow to release their daughter to you. Even when you have a lot of money to give, or whatever wealth to give, because that is what they treasure. Yeah. That's their way. It has become.
It's like marrying a girl whose mother divorced. Don't expect that girl to be there. She will no longer be advised by that mother. It happened with my brother. In most cases,
so you.
Like that. No, which advice is she going to give to the daughter? That is still there.
I happen to have been in a school where the students were almost like the head teacher. The head teacher would come and sleep in the office, lay mat and sleep in the office there. And sometimes you would not come and call to the askari to see whether the matoke has ripened. And these students created some leadership. And the teachers, of course, this is a government school, the teachers would come and teach as they wished. Of course, with that environment, some teachers feel good because you do what you want. At any time, you can even give yourself a leave for a day or two. No one is there. So these students would they would call for the assembly in the very early. Their assemblies would be at around 7 to catch up with their assembly, my dear. you must be a timekeeper. Now, on their assembly, they organized that their assembly begins with entertainment. One comes with and does comedy. They laugh the whole assembly, the whole assembly. But they start with the national anthem, and now they say this time around is so and so is going to come with this, with the comedy, and the other they get like 4 people. They laugh, and after now at 8:30 or tending to 9, that's when teachers are arriving. They find them already on the assembly and address them on addition. Now, of course, their performances would not be good because of leadership issues. But their numbers were not that small. Those who wanted entertainment would advise their colleagues that at our schools we are happy. And those would come, those students who are interested in happiness, entertainment would come and join the school. Because the behavioral pattern had been constructed. Now the new head teacher came in and tried to break the pattern. Some of the students left because that was not their school. It had now changed. It was another school. Some of them left and new ones now are joining because of some other reasons. So let's look at the trait theory. Okay, the trait theory. This theory was greatly studied by Zhang Ke. Zhang is Zhang Ke. Sorry? This theory was greatly studied by Zhang Ke, who realized that some people have some traits which are responsible for their behavior and reaction. He realized that some people have some traits which are responsible for their behavior and reaction when some events happen. Have some traits which are responsible for their behavior and reaction when some events happen. So he looked at how people behave and react in some events. If I started to quarrel with you, with Mr. Chizito, and here we are strongly quarreling, what will be the reaction of you people?
Yeah. You begin quarreling, like we are here now, and you begin quarreling.
what will be the reaction of one of all of you? Will you start to quarrel against me, or quarreling against, or you argue against Mr. Kizito, or you keep silent? You may
depend. You may look at him.
Now, keeping silent, some may keep silent according to their character trait. That some will keep quiet, silent, because their character trait tells them that when there is trouble, keep silent about it. It will calm down. Another one will say, when there is trouble, go and get involved directly. That's when it will calm down. So their character traits here, which Janke explained. One he classified the people into one. They are those called introverts, and they are those called extroverts. There are some called introverts, and there are those called extroverts. Now, let's look at introverts. How would the introverts react? Introverts are always quiet and do not react. Even when the issue at hand, even when the issue at hand hurts them, even if the issue at hand hurts them. Now, the extroverts, in extroversion, extroverts are usually short-tempered. They are short-tempered. They overreact. And directly get involved. Now, I could have told you that, maybe no, I didn't. There is a funeral we had 2 weeks back. A funeral we had 2 weeks back. One of the younger people, of course, we had a clan meeting sometime like in April. We organized an overnight those music overnight dances. So the community came, but they came, beat everyone, kicked everyone, stoned, and disorganized the whole music. We brought police and they had to disperse. Now this time it is a funeral. One younger person comes at around midnight with a branch, a big branch of marijuana, njaga, saying, demanding for a big saucepan from women and wanting to snatch it from them. He wanted to boil the marijuana and take it with his colleagues as tea. Now, I said this, the other time I kept quiet. At this time, I went and picked that young man. And And I wanted to just get him and throw him on the wall. I got him and people came and gathered around. So next time, some certain things. Next time, they will know that in that family, when you are trying to bring chaos, they will also go against you. That is now the perspective. Because the other time we chose to be introverts, they did whatever they wanted. We went and sourced police. This time we get strokes and said, okay, now let us see one another.
And a person can be both introvert and extrovert.
According to situations, yes. It is also possible. I think there is an extra word that will come later called outro or outrovert. Those who blend that too.
There are sometimes you may try to be introvert, even in administration. Sometimes you may try to be quiet, and you didn't know what you have been saying.
So then there is also what we call the humanistic theory. The humanistic theory, under it, it's also a behavior, but it is a very friendly behavior. So in the humanistic theory, there is promotion of human value. Feelings, emotions, and there is also a sense of attachment. We say it is very friendly, so it promotes friendliness. It also promotes human value, valuing people. Their feelings, emotions, and also there is also a sense of attachment. So a person like that, you can see that there can be a blend. As I try to attack Mr. Chizito, someone may choose not to keep quiet because it's feeling that you people, we are all people. Why are you comes in? We are all people. Why that thing can go away, can be resolved because of the humanistic approach. So in the humanistic approach, there is sympathy and empathy. If you have studied, we one time studied about theories of education, administration, and management. We talked about this theory, the humanistic theory. And by then, humanistic. So in the humanistic, there is the humanistic theory, which it promotes friendship or friendliness, values the people, their feelings, emotions, and also there is a sense of attachment. So in the humanistic theory, humans are very central in each and every matter. In some families, you see some people, one can feed a dog than feeding a person. On a good meal on a dog, and takes it in the hospital, pays a trainer than a person. It is not the case to the humanistic theorists. They treasure people much more than anything else. And they making sure that people's well-being is put at the forefront. If it is they are involved in human resource management, their focus is not on do this, do the other. Yes, it is their Their approaches are not. Can we add on their allowances? And how is his health? But you are thinning out these days. Your size is reducing. What is happening? You look to be stressed. When you have a problem, they run to you and make sure you get better and then be able to do whatever. So their focus is not on the outputs of the person, his volume of work. They will look at the person's welfare and wellness first before anything else. This theory, the humanistic theory, was also later on promoted by this Abraham Maslow. You've heard of Abraham's Maslow hierarchy of needs. It is Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow came up with a hierarchy of needs, where he says that all human beings are propelled by their needs to achieve certain things. So as we have Madame Sise at that school, there are certain things she wants as a person, which may not even be the things the school wants. So if you ignore Madame Sise's needs and focus on the school's needs, you lose her. So first look at Madame Sise's needs and also see how, if those needs are satisfied, then Madame Sise will satisfy the needs of the organization. Otherwise, if she does not see that her needs are satisfied by the institution, she will choose to find an alternative institution where those needs will be satisfied. So,
it is a very important thing. It is not only at work, everywhere. It is everywhere. Even in families, in marriage, in relationships.
So he came up with the hierarchy called the hierarchy of needs. This is heavily emphasized when one is talking about motivation. If a person explains motivation without Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he will have done it partially. So, physiological needs. So he talks about the physiological needs first, or basic needs. Why? That's the physiological needs, such as eating, food, a good health, accommodation, clothing, are very, very central aspects that the person should have, even as the person does work. So humanistic people look at that people should be having these ones. And when you look at organizations like in some countries that treasure the humanistic approach, the humanistic theory and the approach, when you get employed, they will first look at you getting where to sleep, how to travel, these needs first. But here, some organizations here, you first look for your transport for the whole month and the food for the whole for the whole month. Yes.
They don't mind about the transport, the accommodation.
Yes.
You have to work fast and complete
What they mind about is your work, not your life. Then there is the security needs. Security or safety. Or safety. So the person will look at, am I safe? Are you safe? In some schools which are discovering that overusing chalk, one can get some dust from the chalkboard, can affect their lives. They encourage maybe using other alternatives. Because it's safe. Whilst you're working, are you safe? We could be working here and the place is so dusty, but the windows they cannot have filters because the people we are working with are not thinking of our safety. The building is so weak, it can collapse on us anytime, but no one is giving attention. You see that? Provided they enter there and do work and get out, it may collapse in 2 years. So security and safety, even as we enter in here, there should be people taking care of the security aspect so that you are safe. Otherwise, you can be bombed anytime. Yes. Then also looked at love and belonging. Love and belonging on top of security. Yes. That everyone will need to have a social attachment with one another. At least in the organization, we should create time and get together and feel together, feel one, feel happy with one another, help one another. Like that kind of love, if people are not loved, they will suffer from social deficiency. You'll be alone. Some people get challenges and they can calm down if only and only if they have someone to tell. He rather calls you. Last month, someone, I think the lady got a problem at home with the husband and called me, and I was in the bank, very busy there, and I couldn't pick. After calling, she told me, I got some challenges. I was calling at least to tell you. It was only to tell me, even if I was going to do nothing, but only to tell me, and she would feel good. But then she told me, I eventually sort of did. So it happens in the organization. Some people have challenges which they need to express to others. Others have joy which they need to
have problems. Others,
yes,
like that.
So
they are happy.
And then when you come and you are so happy, you need to tell someone some happiness so that you get more happy. So that has to be happening in organizations where the people are given space. Yes.
As if she was supposed to be with us.
That one is for curriculum. In organization, that's why they promote that organization should have small even some small informal organizations. You can create your association. We are Baganda. We are Basoga. Within the organization, we are women. We are men. You can create those associations. We are married. Those associations. We are Christians. We are Muslims. You don't deny them because they promote love and belonging. Yes, they can say, but this ED, let us go here and do the other. You don't say, but you people, it's mathematics. It's time for physics. That time will be for physics. At least listen to them and schedule, help them to schedule properly, other than denying them. When they feel that they are not loved and they don't belong anywhere, they they will not feel like they are working properly or they are in a good working environment.
Like these people, the scientists and the artists, the others are highly paid. Don't you think the artists those ones may think they are not loved? In the second, for us in private, it's the same, but for this one's case, the government doesn't want those ones to divide and rule.
So then there is that possibility also. Some people may feel like they are not loved, others they are loved. So there must be approaches in management because you're dealing with management. So this one can happen at classroom level, at management level, and administrative level. So how you handle can be, but when in management you look at people, you be close the principle of love and belonging in management is that be close to people as a manager or an administrator so that they feel that you love them, but also keep a distance from them to prevent familiarity. Mm.
You just look at him or her and you tell this one doesn't want keeping a distance. Some people overdo. They overdo. Some over distance.
So they feel yes, abambagiyitiriza. Yet others over become close.
For example, the environment where we work for, whenever you find teachers in a group, they talk bad things against head teachers. Even head teachers, they talk bad things against teachers. No, that's what they do. I when I was still teaching, I was among the group who were talking bad things about great teachers. They do UP, they do this. I was against them.
So
we don't love each other.
Okay. So that is, we have looked at love and belonging. There's also self-esteem. There's self-esteem. Self-esteem as a need there. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. Now, self-esteem is that everyone wants to feel like he's treasured, and that he can and is given opportunities to exercise that. You get it? So self-esteem, even though you may not treasure somebody as an administrator, that person may, inside that person may feel like I can do this. I have this, I know this, or I can even do it, I can speak there, even if they have not given them opportunities. So that self-esteem that people have, sometimes they may end up despising some other people. It does not mean that when people despise, it can become a character trait also. But it can also mean that they have not been given that chance to do it also. So when as others do, they are feeling like if it was me, I would have done it better. So with that, the one who is listening to them will think they are despising, but they are also feeling that if it were, I was given that opportunity. Yes. 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 No, some of them you need to help them. When you discover it, you may be having a class teacher who is desiring to be a head teacher. You see that, but needs support to become it. Some of them you can give them some tasks to exercise it and give them the reason why it is done like that. And then also some of them you can even guide them to go and upgrade and get a possibility of being head teachers. Because you will not afford to fight each and everybody. Yes. In life, we create avenues which lift people uphill. There are those who will not go uphill and remain criticizers. But there are those who can go, but they don't have any avenue, even psychological support, or financial support, or social support. Nze nina omuvubuka kati gwe ndiko mmazeeko emyaka egyo buli aŋŋamba agenda funa admission efuusa admission. The other day I'm going to go there and take the admission. Yes. That he will give them to me. I can cause it to be. So there are some students who can study simply because someone has got them by force. And then after they realize, those are the people you hear sometimes saying, if it was not so and so, I wouldn't have done this. Even in marriage. It happens to children and even the adults. So self-esteem is very central. People need to be esteemed. You can do it. And try it out. You see, it has not come out, but next time when you do it the other way, it is going to come out so well. That kind of esteem can make people do better. One, it is like okwemanya. Then self-actualization as the extreme. That is according to Abraham Maslow. Self-actualization is the extreme level. So self-actualization looks at specifically how people some people or most people want to do things beyond imagination. But I can manage like 7 schools at a go, being this one, the other one, and the other one. I can have my business as I have a farm, and also the school is running beyond what somebody can actually imagine. So there are those, and like some people these days are studying about artificial intelligence, where they want to form an artificial lecturer or artificial teacher, where you say, we want to be taught curriculum. Please come and teach us curriculum. Then it asks you, the artificial person call it a computer. Which topic do you want? we want this topic and the other topic. So which specific areas didn't you understand properly? Or are you beginners? Yes, we are beginners. Okay, it is going to take you this time. Then immediately it starts to introduce the lesson. But programmed, yes, programmed to teach, but with sensitivity that there are people in the audience. So if there is a challenge, you can speak and say, but here you've said this. How is it? Then in the programming, it comes and gives you a response. Then it continues from where it started, it was ended. Just as a teacher. And people who are imagining about that are at this self-actualization stage. Yes, they have produced the computer and say, what else can a computer do beyond the common? Then that's where they come. So that's Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which explains the humanistic theory that further self-actualization. Then we for now we can leave out the constructionist theory, but the constructionist theory, because it is not among the personality. It's not among the personality theory, but in expansion of the personality theory, if you want it, you can add. There's also another theory called the biological theory. Under it, maybe a description of the biological theory. The constructionist theory, for it looks at the fact that cognitive people being able to reason and think, get ideas, and also act according to the external environment influences is not enough. The constructionist theory is drawn from the weaknesses of the cognitive theory and behavioral theory, which for it asserts that human beings do not only react because of the thoughts generated by environment or behavior adopted from the environment, but they can also create their own way of thinking, so different from their external environment. They can also create their own behavior and say, we in this community we don't have such kind of behavior. How did this person come up with it? Yeah. And we don't have such kind of thought pattern, but this person has constructed it. Yeah. So this in the constructivist theory will look at human beings can create their own ways or patterns of thought. So if a teacher is a cognitivist, will always seek for students' opinions, their ideas, additions, and the multiplications of certain things brought to them. What do you think? How can we make it better? That's the constructionist. So that they come up with a body of knowledge and a certain form of skills. You said, let's make a chair. Let it look like this. Cognitivists will do so. Let it look like this because the pattern of chairs has been like that. But in constructionists, the student can change it. can say, but what if we put it the other side and then have it some way? If you don't block them, you say you try to do it. They can waste material way and try to make it, and sometimes it can come out in constructivist. So it is a blend of the two being advanced. That's the constructionist theory. So human beings can create their own way and ways of action and paths of action which may even deviate from the common norm. There is another theory, of course, this being psychology. Psychology is mostly driven by several theories, but the theories are simple if you try to understand them. Then there is also the social behavioral theory. Social behavior. So this asserts that the social setup of a human being may determine that person's social behavior. So some social setups such as culture, religion, and other norms may give and develop someone's personality. So some social setups such as culture, religion, and other norms may give and develop someone's personality. And most times their behavior. So for example, in some culture, women don't eat eggs, and that's how, and chicken. My mom doesn't eat eggs, does not eat chicken. Mm. Okay. So when they find such things, they treat them as outcasts. When they are found like eating them, they can be treated as outcasts. Like they are not among them. It's only that that pattern is broken somehow in the recent days. But even my aunties would not eat chicken and eggs. That is because of their social behavioral attachment. And this is usually adopted from my sisters. My mother would say, for us we don't eat chicken, so are you going to eat it? So are you going to eat it? If you're eating it, it's okay, but for me, I don't eat it. For me, I don't eat it. But you get to know that she doesn't eat it because of some reason. Then you can also start resenting eating it. So, yes. So the biological theory is based on the facts or assertions that the person's behavior may be as a result of the biological setup of that person. Normally, they take their gender in a certain way. People may consider their gender in a certain way. You may find that it is maybe the work to be done is driving trucks. And then you say, please, women in this area, please come and drive trucks. But the women are like, wow, how can we drive trucks? Because that thing is not ours. That one is for men. It's like finding a woman is drunk and fallen on the roadside. And why she's drunk? But it's men who should who should do that. So they attach behavior to the biological inclination of the person. You can find in your classes that some parents may not believe that some activities should be done by what? By girls.
Excuse me.
Yes.
When you talk about that when you use this word, I thought that you were going to talk about inheritance.
Yeah, when you're talking about biological, you're talking about what is concerning life, people, life, and you cannot only inheritance is just an aspect because biology will explain the genetics. That how do you differentiate a woman from a man? It's by DNA. It can be known. I think you have heard of that. That women have a certain chromosome. Is it the Y? The X chromosome. And men have the Y chromosome. So they can be differentiated. So even the theorists, these theorists attach behavior to gender and say a woman can behave a certain way which can be differentiated from a man. Those who program computers can even set a program, a differentiator, which can differentiate gender by walking style. It has a characteristic. Walking style, dressing code, those are all, anyway, even dressing is a behavior. And you find if you set a program and say, where you find earrings, necklace, skirt, call that one a female. And where you do not find that, but you find beards, call that a man. And it can be programmed that whereas you enter, you're said to be a man, and without necessarily telling the people around that I am female, I am what, by gender categorization. So where most times people behave the way they do because they have perceptions that they must be considered as special groups. Because of their biological belongings. So you may find that in some schools, some girls don't want to be involved in so hard work, carrying jerry cans of water, 2 of them. But for us, we are girls. How can we carry water? It is boys. They are adopting that kind of behavior because of their biological setup and inclination. So thinking that is for boys and not for girls.